Greetings, everybody. So in this video, we're going to discuss about observers. I'm going to give you a very simple example in Simulink where we simulate an observer for a state space system, and I'm going to put a link for downloading the Simulink model in the description of the video. Okay. Now, what is an observer? Okay, you should also consider reading the theory. It's basically in every classic textbook on automatic control that has a chapter on state space systems. Now, remember, the state space system has a very clear structure. We have an input, the states of the system, and the output of the system. Remember, the output is basically a linear combination of the states, and it is actually the measurable information for the system. Okay, so in a general state space system, we don't have access to the actual states of the system. We only have access to the output of the system. Okay, and through the output, we obtain some information about the system. Okay, the output is usually a subset of the states or maybe a linear combination of the states. Okay, now what happens when we actually need to estimate the internal states of the system? Okay, so we know the input to the system, we get some information for the system from the output, but we also need to estimate the internal states of the system. Okay, why do we need that? Well, basically, because estimating the internal states gives us more complete knowledge of the system. Okay, so the output gives us some information, but knowing the actual values of the states give us complete information for the system. Okay, not only that, but when we want to apply state feedback and we don't know the state, well, how the hell are we going to apply state feedback without knowing the states? Okay, well, in order to apply state feedback when you don't know the states, you need to have an observer, okay, to do so. So what is an observer? The observer is a secondary system. It is basically a copy of the original system, okay, and usually a digital copy of this system, okay. And that system, the observer, takes information from the original system input and the original system output, and through this information, it manages, if designed properly, of course, to estimate the internal states of the original system. Okay, so the observer replicates the actual system and estimates its internal states. Okay. So this is a structure here where everything that you see in black is the actual state space model. Okay, and everything that you see in green is the observer system. Okay. You need to read the theory, of course, but the idea behind the observer is this. Both of these systems have the same input. Here I have as an example a step response. Okay, it's multiplied, as we know from state space theory, by a matrix B. Okay, and this input is fed to both systems. Okay, so this is the original system. We have the state right here, x dot integrated and becomes the state. Okay, let's call it this, the state. And when the state is multiplied by C, we obtain the output of the original system. Okay, so what you see down below is the observer. The observer has the exact same structure. It also has the matrix B times the input. It also has the same matrix A times the state. Okay, so this state right here is the estimated state. Okay, it's not the real state. This estimated state, which tries to replicate the actual state, is multiplied by the output, the same output matrix. So the matrix is in the state space A, B, and C, and D, if it exists. They are all the same in the original system and the observer system. But the observer system, in order to properly work, needs one more term. And this term takes this into consideration. It takes the real output of the system, which is measurable, the output of the observer, which uses the estimated state, takes their difference, and this is basically the error between the outputs, the original and the estimated output. Then this error of the outputs is multiplied by a gain matrix lambda, L actually, no, it's not lambda, it's English L, okay. And this term, L times the error of the outputs, is also fed into the system, okay. And this additional term, L times the error of the outputs, the error between the outputs, helps in having the observer converge to the actual values of the original system states. Okay. In order to compute this matrix L, what I need to do is basically, let me first define my system, which is this one, A, B, C, and D matrices. And this matrix L, of course, you should need read the theory first, is computed by basically doing a pole placement on the matrix pair A transpose and C transpose. Okay, this is equivalent to controllability. Basically, it's sort of a dual notion of controllability. So we take the transpose of A, the transpose of C, and we do a pole placement to obtain L transpose. The original matrix is the transpose of L transp. Okay, that's why I have this uh, dot right here, which computes the transpose in MATLAB notation. You should read the theory, of course, to understand that. And ideally, of course, the pole placement should be, how can I say this, uh, very much so to the left, so that the convergence between the observer states and the actual states is very, very fast. Okay. Of course, as you know from feedback control, in order to place the poles on the further on the agent values of this matrix further to the left, we generally need higher gains or more energy. So depending on the application, it may not be possible to put them extremely on the left, but this is of course up to the application at hand. From a mathematical or a numerical perspective, this is just a number. Okay, so I place them very, very far to the left. It's on -10 and -9. Very nice. So now that I simulate the system, you will see, if we observe the outputs between the two systems, you will see that indeed, okay, can we also view the legends maybe? Okay, that the observer output eventually after maybe 1.5 seconds, 1.2 seconds, converges, okay, to the real output of the system, which is in yellow. Okay. By the way, note that the original system and the observer system have different initial conditions. So for the original system, I have set the initial conditions to 1, 1, but for the observer, I set the initial conditions to 0. Okay. Generally, we don't know the initial conditions of the original system. So basically, we always place the initial conditions of the observer on the 0 position. Okay. So you see that actually we managed to get a very nice estimation that takes almost pretty much 1 second. I would say maybe even slightly less than 1 second. Okay. So the output of the observer converges to the output of the original system. And the same thing holds for the states of the system. Now, of course, in a real situation, the states of the original system are not accessible to us. But since it is something done in a computer, we actually do have access to the states. So here I have just a couple more cables where I simply take the differences between estimated and actual states of the system. So you see right here, this is the first state. So you see that the state of the original system and the state of the observer converge, and the same holds for the state, for the second state of the system. Again, you see that the original and the estimated eventually converge to one another at around 1 second. And of course, the same thing holds regardless of the input that I'm going to use. So if I change the step input by double clicking here, this is a simply manual switch that you can find in Simulink. So if I change it to a simple sinusoidal input, doesn't change the fact that we again have convergence. Okay, convergence on the output. And of course, we again have convergence, let me put it right here, between the first state and the state of the observer, and the second state and state of the observer. Okay, so the more on the left we put the eigenvalues of this pole placement problem right here, the fastest the convergence is going to be. Let me give you another example. If I place them to -1 and -0.9 and rerun the simulation, initially it took 1 second pretty much. Now it's going to take much, much, much longer. Okay. So now you see that it takes more than 8 seconds. Let me increase the simulation to 15 seconds. So you see, just because on the pole placement, I didn't place the eigenvalues of the pole placement matrix further on the left, convergence between the observer and the original system is now much, much, much lower. Okay, it takes around 10 seconds. Of course, this holds for the output and pretty much all the states as well. Okay. So ideally, you want to have your pole placement problem, you should read the theory, of course, further placed on the left. Of course, in a realistic situation, you may not be able to do that infinitely on the left. So in a real situation, you basically choose the best possible actual result that you can achieve. But mathematically, the further on the left, the faster is the convergence. Okay, and this is very important, of course, because you can now use this observer to design a feedback control, state feedback control, let me correct myself, through the observer, not through the actual system. Okay, we are going to see this in the next video. Okay, so I'm gonna put a link into the description of the video to see this model right here. And thank you very much. Any questions that you have, write them down in the comments.